Okay, so this video is something I'm not really thrilled about making. I've been in the tech space for quite a few years, about 9. So I have quite a bit of experience testing different type of devices, including smartphones. And the recent video Marques Brownlee put out on his YouTube channel is kind of disappointing. I mean, I understand a couple of things he says, but a lot of them I don't, and it does feel, well, kind of wrong. So let's get into it. So by this point, probably most of you already know who Marques Brownlee is. I don't think I need to make an introduction. He has a huge following. He's been reviewing tech for quite a few years. He's even had his share of controversy, like for example, driving a car 90 miles per hour in front of a school district, which apparently has disappeared and there was really no consequences towards, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the newest video he has on his YouTube channel, which is talking about carbon silicon batteries, which is relatively new tech, but is not that new. And what this video is about is a typical Marques Brownlee video where he starts talking about his opinion about silicon carbon batteries, which is fine. I mean, everybody has their opinion and you can always speculate, but it has to be only that, especially when you're not presenting any proof. First of all, the thumbnail for this video was actually pretty alarming and actually one-sided. He put a OnePlus, the newest OnePlus that was out, with a cable attached to it, and it looked like the OnePlus was about to explode, which is obviously something that hasn't happened and is actually negative towards OnePlus, which is something you shouldn't be doing unless it's something that really happens. Like, for example, what happened with Samsung. I mean, if you put it on a Samsung, it makes sense because it has happened with their phones. But as far as I know, nothing like this has ever been reported with OnePlus phones, especially not with OnePlus phones that have silicon carbon batteries. He got a lot of heat for that, so apparently they just changed that thumbnail on his YouTube channel, but still left the video up and said nothing absolutely about every other criticism that he has received. And that criticism is pretty valid, because in his video he starts talking about what he thinks about carbon silicon batteries and the way he thinks that they might be actually dangerous. Apparently in this video he says he has a credible source, which he doesn't name, and also says that he doesn't have proof of. So he's almost assuring that maybe carbon silicon batteries could be dangerous in the sense that they might swell, they might explode, and could actually damage phones on a longer term, because we don't know how durable phones can be with silicon carbon batteries. But in the same video, he's saying that silicon carbon batteries have been around for about 3 years, that the first silicon carbon batteries that came out 3 years ago. And he's Marques Brownlee. So if you're thinking the same thing I am, you could probably say, why on earth doesn't he have the first silicon carbon battery phone and actually show it as proof if it's something that doesn't last that much or something that maybe explodes? Because I'm sure he has it in his warehouse or in his storage somewhere, because he has a ton of phones around there. But okay, let's make believe he doesn't have this phone and he still believes this. Then it starts feeling like the video takes a turn towards propaganda for the big guys. For example, Apple, Samsung, and also Google. Because it says these companies have been playing it safe. Samsung? Playing it safe? Really? I mean, we know the history that Samsung has. I mean, I'm not even talking about the Note 7, which was an issue with a supplier. It's not directly the fault of Samsung, but oh my God, Samsung phones are notoriously known for having terrible batteries, for swelling those batteries even when left stored. I mean, Samsung batteries can be dangerous if you have them stored in a drawer, because yes, they can catch fire and they can even swell. Somebody that's actually addressed this has been Aaron from Mr. Who's the Boss. He once made a video showing his whole storage of phones, and he started picking out the phones which had a battery that was swollen. And most of these phones were actually Samsung phones. And guess what? The batteries inside those Samsung phones were not silicon carbon batteries. They were regular batteries, which actually contradicts what Marques is saying in his video. On the other side, in his video, he does mention that it might be because of costs. But then he starts saying that huge companies like, for example, Xiaomi can absorb these costs, so maybe Samsung and Apple could absorb them as well. And well, that actually depends, because these companies don't all get the batteries from the same suppliers. And Xiaomi, being a Chinese brand, might actually have a local Chinese supplier, which gives them a better price than what Apple and Samsung could actually get if they went with the same supplier. So I'm actually thinking that's where this is actually going. I think Apple and Samsung are not playing it safe. They just can't afford silicon carbon batteries. And that's what I believe. But apparently Marques says that batteries could be dangerous. And the issue with that video, and that actually bugs me a bit, is that these declarations can actually affect companies to a very large scale. Imagine telling people that silicon carbon batteries can be dangerous because somebody told me, but I can't prove it. But still, I'm a huge figure in the tech space, and people start believing me and stop buying phones from companies like, for example, Xiaomi, OnePlus, Oppo, which are using silicon carbon batteries that are not proven to be dangerous and that have actually been out for 3 years without any incidents. That is just something that doesn't feel right, and actually, well, it looks pretty one-sided towards Marques. A lot of the comments on the video actually say that it feels like propaganda from the big boys, and I'm sorry, but I kind of agree. I don't think Marques Brownlee is actually receiving money for making that video, but I do feel he has some kind of one-sided deal preference or something towards the big companies. For example, Samsung. I don't think he has that much of a good relationship with Apple as he has with Samsung, but he's always praised Samsung phones. And it's always kind of avoided talking about the issue with the batteries. He did talk about the Note 7 in his time, but he hasn't spoken about recent phones actually bloating up. He hasn't showed his storage of phones he has regarding towards Samsung, and which I'm sure more than one is probably swollen. But what do you guys think? Do you think carbon silicon batteries are actually dangerous? Do you think Marques Brownlee is actually biased? Or maybe it's just one-sided because he really likes Samsung? I mean, I honestly don't know what to think about him. I'm just a little bit disappointed that he didn't bring down his video after people called him out with the thumbnail of the video and actually showed him that his declarations are one-sided and could affect other companies without any proof or any real reason for it. But drop a comment below about what you think, and also I'll see you in the next video, which is hopefully not talking about somebody else's work because I really don't like making videos like this, but it's something that we had to address in this channel.